Leo, your great Wednesday breakthrough has arrived. Heaven just unlocked your miracle. That's not a metaphor. That's a shift. A real one. And it starts now. So let me ask you this: have you ever had a day where something just feels different? Like the air is thicker with possibility? Maybe you can't explain why, but deep in your gut, you know you're standing on the edge of something that doesn't happen every week, every year, maybe not even every decade. That's today. You didn't click this video by chance. You didn't stumble in here just to pass time. Something deeper pulled you, and maybe it was a whisper in your spirit, maybe it was exhaustion, maybe it was hope's last thread. But you're here. And I need you to know that today, this exact Wednesday, was circled in heaven's calendar long before you ever felt lost. This message isn't just a horoscope reading. It's a spiritual checkpoint. A realignment. A moment of divine interruption in your ordinary life. And if you've been feeling like you're invisible, like your prayers got lost in the shuffle, like life has somehow left you behind, please, don't scroll away. This moment is yours. I've walked through this before. That strange season where you wonder if you missed the window. Where you look back at all the waiting, all the pain, and ask, was any of it worth it? And then suddenly it's as if something cracks open, and you realize none of it was wasted. It was preparation. It was protection. And it was perfectly timed. Leo, I want you to hear me with more than just your ears. Heaven didn't forget you. You weren't being punished. You were being preserved. You've been in a season of hiddenness, not abandonment. And today, this Wednesday, you are being called out of the shadows. This is not another video where you listen and leave unchanged. This is the moment you stop surviving and start activating. You're not just meant to receive miracles anymore. You are the miracle that others have been praying for. This is your great Wednesday. And the gate is open. Now, before we move forward, take a moment. Breathe. Put your hand on your chest if you need to. And remind yourself, you're still here. You're still standing. You've been through storms that would have shattered others, but you endured. That wasn't by accident. It's because heaven saw something in you that the world missed. And if you feel something stirring right now, even if it's faint, I want you to acknowledge it. Right now, drop a comment below and write, "This Wednesday is mine." That's not just an interaction for the algorithm. It's an agreement. A declaration in the spirit realm that you're ready to receive what's already been released for you. Let me also pause to thank you for being here. For every like, every comment, every moment you choose to stay, know this. You are helping grow something bigger than a channel. You are helping bring light to places where it's been dark for far too long. And I mean it when I say this: thank you, from the deepest part of my heart. So, Leo, tell me, what was it that drew you here today? Was it a feeling? A dream you haven't told anyone about? A question you've been too tired to ask out loud? Whatever it was, I'm telling you, it wasn't random. It was a divine setup. And you're exactly where you need to be. Stay with me. What's coming next might just change everything. When we talk about timing, most people immediately think of clocks and calendars, of deadlines and delays. But Leo, what if I told you that real timing, the kind that shifts the entire direction of your life, has nothing to do with ticking seconds, and everything to do with alignment? As you sit with the truth that this Wednesday was circled for you before you even knew it existed, the sky itself is echoing that message. And it's not speaking in riddles. It's speaking through astrology, through energy, and yes, even through the cards. Right now, the moon is moving through Taurus, an earth sign that whispers patience, grounding, and safety, but today it's forming a rare and powerful trine with Pluto. This is not a quiet alignment. This is cosmic rebirth. Pluto doesn't just nudge, it transforms. And in trine with the moon, it says, your emotional body is ready to release what no longer serves you. The wounds you buried, the beliefs that kept you playing small, the limitations you inherited but never agreed to, theory not yours anymore. This is the moment to rise from them, not in rebellion, but in reclamation. Then we have Jupiter, the planet of expansion, abundance, divine favor, preparing to shift signs. This is not subtle. When Jupiter moves, it opens doors that were welded shut. And Leo, as a fire sign, you're in the front row of this cosmic activation. If you felt like money has been stuck, or like your dreams were too big for your current life, this is not the end, it's the escalation. Something big is building, and it has your name on it. And then, the tarot. Oh, the cards today are not whispering, they are declaring. The world tells us the cycle is complete. You've walked through something that broke you down and rebuilt you from the inside. And now, you're standing on the edge of completion, not because you're finished, but because a new chapter can finally begin. Judgment is not about fear or punishment, it's about waking up. It's the inner bell that rings when you've stayed quiet too long. It calls you out of indecision, out of the shadows, and into your role. You're not just being invited to walk into something better. You're being summoned to rise as who you were always meant to be. Ace of Pentacles is the seed. The chance. The opportunity that shows up when your energy is finally ready to receive something real. This isn't fantasy. This is manifestation with feet on the ground. Whether it's money, a job offer, a piece of property, or simply a renewed sense of physical safety, today the gate has been opened. Even numerology echoes this. The vibration of 411 collapses into 15, and then 6, a number rooted in harmony, healing, and love. This isn't romantic fluff. This is deep soul repair. This is the moment when the fractured pieces begin to soften, and you remember what it feels like to belong to your own life again. Leo, this isn't a pause in your journey. This is the inhale before everything exhales into motion. Sometimes the universe goes quiet not to forget us, but to position us. And today, you are in position. You are exactly where you need to be to catch what's being poured into your life. Not because you chased it, but because you endured long enough to receive it. So take a breath. Not a shallow one. A full, anchored, soul-level breath. Because nothing about today is ordinary. And deep down you already knew that. If this is resonating with something inside you, even if you can't explain why, drop a comment and write, I'm aligned. I'm ready. I receive. Let it be a small act of faith with a massive echo. Because the sky isn't just watching. It's responding. If you've ever felt invisible, Leo. Like you were shouting into the wind and no one heard you, not even the universe, you're not alone. That silence? That long, aching pause you've lived through? It wasn't punishment. It wasn't delay. It was preparation. And I know how tempting it is to believe you were forgotten. When the calls don't come. When the effort doesn't pay off. When love drifts away. When the job stalls. When everyone around you seems to be moving forward and you're just stuck. You start wondering, did I miss it? Did I do something wrong? Did life skip over me? But let me offer another perspective. One that comes not just from astrology, but from what I've seen again and again in the energy field around people like you, the ones who are chosen for more. You weren't skipped. You were shielded. You were hidden in plain sight. Not because you weren't worthy, but because what's coming required a level of strength, clarity, and depth that can't be built in the spotlight. It has to be forged in the quiet. You see, even the most powerful figures in ancient stories had seasons of obscurity. Joseph wasn't just tossed aside by his brother, she was sold into a pit, wrongly accused, forgotten in prison. David wasn't immediately crowned king, he spent years in caves, hunted, doubted, singing his soul to the stars while everyone else had moved on. But neither of them were being sidelined. They were being shaped. And so were you. I don't know what you've walked through, but I can feel the weight of it. The betrayal that cracked your heart in two. The love you gave that didn't come back. The career move that didn't land. The dream you watered for years that never bloomed. These aren't signs of failure. They're evidence that your soul was in training. That you've been enduring spiritual weightlifting, strengthening muscles no one else can see. Because here's the deeper truth. Being chosen for something great doesn't always look like greatness. Sometimes it looks like isolation. Sometimes it looks like working in silence while others get the applause. Sometimes it feels like carrying emotional bricks while trying not to collapse under the load. But you're still standing. Even if some days all you did was breathe, you're still here. So let me say this clearly, you weren't forgotten. You were being positioned. You were being refined. You weren't late, you were being calibrated. And now the season is shifting. The same way tectonic plates grind below the surface for years before they finally break open and change the shape of the land at that moment. You've been underground long enough. The rise begins now. What you've endured is not your identity. It's your initiation. Your emotional scars don't make you broken. They make you trustworthy. Because people who've walked through fire and didn't lose their softness, those are the ones the universe can use to carry light. You're not here by accident. And what's ahead of you is not random blessing, it's the result of everything you've survived with grace. So if something inside you is resonating right now, if your heart is saying, yes, even while your mind still hesitates, I want you to write it below. Say it out loud. Anchor it in this moment. I wasn't forgotten. I was being prepared. Because sometimes, all it takes to shift energy is to claim what's already been true all along. It's easy to spend your whole life thinking the best you can do is ask for peace, ask for healing, ask for a break. But Leo, what if I told you that you're no longer standing in line for a miracle? What if you are the miracle? What if this entire journey, the hardship, the survival, the days you whispered into silence, was not only about making it through, but about becoming the one who breaks the silence for others? You've been shaped in fire, not to burn but to glow. To light the way. And now it's time to shift the way you see yourself. You are no longer a seeker hoping for scraps of divine intervention. You are an heir stepping into legacy. A vessel through which miracles flow. This moment isn't just about what you get, it's about what you release. Think about Joseph. He didn't just survive betrayal and abandonment. He was elevated because he could carry what others couldn't. His suffering wasn't for show, it was sacred preparation. And when famine came, he didn't hoard his miracle. He became the source. The world didn't just come to Egypt for food. They came to Joseph. He was the answer in a time of crisis. And Leo, that's what you are now. A living response to the ache of your generation. You carry wisdom born from wounds, clarity that came from chaos, and strength forged through suffering. This isn't about being perfect. This is about being available. The kind of availability that comes from knowing what it's like to feel forgotten and choosing to show up anyway. You are not just the end of a generational struggle. You are the beginning of a generational shift. Your children, your family, your community, they are watching you, even if they don't say it out loud. They're feeling your frequency change. Your healing isn't just for you. It's for them. And that's what makes you dangerous to darkness. That's why you've been fought so hard. Because when one person breaks through, it sends shockwaves. When one person in a family line decides, the curse stops here, the entire line is affected. You're not here to beg for transformation. You're here to become the vessel through which it enters your home, your neighborhood, your bloodline. You are the living permission slip others have been waiting for. The reason someone else will keep going when they almost didn't. So go ahead. Take a breath. Place your hand on your chest. And say this with me, not as a wish but as a knowing, I am the miracle. I am the anointed one. I am the door opener for my generation. Say it again until your nervous system believes it. Say it until the fear starts to loosen its grip. Because the moment you say yes to this new identity, you shift the spiritual climate around you. You start walking differently, speaking differently, deciding differently. You begin to understand that your pain wasn't wasted, it was your proving ground. And if you ever start to doubt that, just remember this, every generation hopes for someone strong enough to break the pattern. Someone brave enough to stand between the old cycle and the new future. And this time, it's you. Now write it in the comments below, so the universe hears you. So your ancestors hear you. So your own soul hears you again and again until it becomes truth. I am the miracle. I am the one who was chosen to unlock the gates of heaven for my generation. Because you're not here to just witness the shift. You're here to be the shift. There comes a moment, Leo, when all the signs, all the inner nudges, and all the quiet preparation converge into a choice. Not a loud one. Not the kind of choice others can see or clap for. But a quiet decision between staying where you've been. Or stepping into the space that's finally been opened for you. That's what this part of your journey is about. The door is open. It really is. But no one can walk through it for you. The energy of judgment, the card that's showing up for you right now, is not just about reflection. It's a wake-up call. It's the trumpet that doesn't just echo through your mind, but through your soul. It stirs something deep. It tells you, not with fear, but with clarity, you've been asleep long enough. You've been stuck in loops of questioning yourself, waiting for the perfect moment, believing that maybe someone else needs to approve of your healing, your success, your rise. But here's what I've learned, not just through reading charts or pulling cards, but through real-life healing journeys. The gate doesn't wait forever. The energy opens, yes, but your alignment, your willingness to move activates it. Your response is the key. People talk a lot about timing, but not all timing is measured in days. Some moments live in what we call cherished divine time. Timeless timing. Not late, not early, just right now. And today is one of those moments for you. And no, you're not too old. You're not too late. You haven't missed it. I don't care what your bank account looks like, what your past relationships have done to your heart, or what opportunities feel like they slipped through your fingers. That's just data. What matters more is this: are you willing to believe that your readiness is more important than your resume? Because readiness isn't about perfection. It's about availability. It's about saying, even though I still have doubts, I'm stepping forward anyway. It's about letting your scars be visible not as signs of shame, but as proof that you've healed and kept walking. Some people spend their whole lives waiting for permission to start again. But Leo, you don't need permission. You need presence. You need a moment of clarity that says, I may not have everything figured out, but I refuse to live one more day hiding from what's been waiting for me. What's on the other side of this door? It may not be glittery. It may not be instant. But I can tell you this: it's authentic. It's yours. And it won't come crashing in. It will come gently, like an invitation. And when it does, all it asks is that you show up. Fully. Honestly. Willingly. So here's what I want you to do. If something stirred inside you while you've been listening, if your chest feels warmer, or your stomach tight, or your eyes a little misty, don't dismiss it. That's your inner self recognizing a truth it already knew. Place your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath. And if you're ready to meet this moment, to own your timing, to walk through this divine threshold, I want you to write these words in the comments below. Heaven opened my Wednesday miracle. Not because it's a magic phrase, but because your words shift your reality. Because sometimes the only thing separating where you are and where you're meant to be is one simple, fully felt decision. And this could be that moment. There's something powerful that happens when a Leo stops apologizing for being born to lead. When you stop waiting for someone to hand you the script and start writing your own. And not just for yourself, but for everyone who came before you, and everyone who's coming after. You see, Leo, this moment isn't just personal. It's generational. This isn't just about healing your own heart, it's about healing your bloodline. Whether you realize it or not, you've been walking through battles that didn't start with you. You've carried patterns of scarcity, abandonment, conflict, and silence that didn't begin in your lifetime but are ending with you. That weight you've been carrying? It's not just yours. And yet, you were the one strong enough to carry it to this breaking point, where it finally transforms. You're not here to repeat the cycles. You're here to rewrite them. Astrologically, Leo is the sign of royalty, not because you wear a crown, but because you carry responsibility. Real leadership doesn't shout. It holds space. And you've been holding space for healing that stretches back generations, sometimes without even realizing it. The way you choose peace when conflict feels easier. The way you stay open-hearted even when love hasn't been returned. The way you keep showing up even when no one claps. That's not weakness. That's ancestral strength moving through you. I've seen it in the charts. Those born under Leo often carry a karmic mission tied to restoring honor, self-worth, and creative voice to their lineage. You are the storyteller. The fire keeper. The one who says, "This ends with me," and has the courage to make it true. You're also the fulfillment of prayers whispered in kitchens, in hospital rooms, in places where no one believed miracles were still possible. Maybe it was your grandmother's dream that never got lived out. Maybe it was the self-expression your father never gave himself permission to explore. Maybe it was a mother who never felt safe enough to rest. And now, through you, they get to breathe. This is what it means to be a spiritual warrior, not loud, not always visible, but unshakable in your willingness to carry light into places that have been dark for too long. And I know some days it's exhausting. Some days you'll wonder if anyone sees the effort. But that's where your Leo heart shines brightest. Because you're not doing this for applause. You're doing this because your soul said yes long before your mind understood what it meant. The truth is, when a Leo wakes up to their calling, the entire system shifts. Families get freer. Cycles dissolve. Futures are reborn. When you rise, Leo, you don't rise alone, you bring others with you. Even the ones who don't say thank you. Even the ones who once rejected your fire. Your light still reaches them. That's the kind of leader you are. So I want to ask you something, and I want you to feel it in your bones before you answer. If you knew the entire lineage behind you was watching. If you knew the next generation was depending on your voice. Would you hold back? Or would you let the roar out? Because this isn't just about surviving anymore. This is about taking your place in the story. And I believe you already know what your answer is. Now go ahead. Let it echo where it needs to echo. Say it loud in the comments below. I am the shift. I am the story changer. I was born to rewrite the line. And never forget, when a Leo awakens, the whole kingdom remembers how to live. You've made it here, Leo, and that means something. Not just because you stayed until the end of this message, but because something inside you recognized truth when it heard it. And if you felt anything at all stirring in your chest or rising quietly behind your eyes, trust it. That's the part of you that remembers you were made for more. That you're not just here to witness miracles, you're here to become the living, breathing proof that they're real. You're not waiting on permission to shine. You were born radiant. The version of you that's brave enough to walk forward even after loss, even after silence, even after being misunderstood is already enough. More than enough. That version of you is the reason doors are opening, energy is shifting, and old cycles are breaking. You don't have to earn your breakthrough. You simply have to align with it. And maybe that's the hardest part, believing that you're allowed to have it, even after all the time you've spent surviving. But let me tell you something I know from walking with thousands of people through spiritual healing: you are allowed. Not only that, but the very fact that you're still standing means you've already passed every unseen test the universe put in front of you. You've already proven that your heart is ready to hold what's coming. So now, what will you do with this moment? Will you water the seeds that were planted in this message? Will you give yourself the grace to keep going even if no one claps? Even if the people around you don't see the depth of your shift yet? Or will you slip back into old patterns, just because they're comfortable even though they never fed your soul? If you knew the miracle had already been released into your timeline, would you walk differently? Speak more kindly to yourself? Forgive more quickly? Trust your instincts more? What's one change, big or small, that you can make today to move toward the version of you that's already been waiting? Take a deep breath. Let it land. And then ask yourself, what happens if I stop waiting for the next sign, and just say yes now? Thank you truly for choosing to be here. For every like, every comment, every share, every subscription that connects you more deeply to this eternal mindfulness community. Your presence means more than you know. Your support is what allows us to keep showing up with these messages that, I hope, help you feel less alone and more aligned with the sacred rhythm of your own becoming. And if today's message awakens something inside you, even the tiniest flicker, and keep it to yourself. Leave a comment. Share it with someone who might need this exact energy. And remember, you don't have to be loud to be powerful. Quiet shifts move mountains when they come from the right place within. So, what part of you is ready to wake up now? What cycle ends today because you chose to say yes? What miracle are you ready to live, not just dream about? I'll see you in the next video. But until then, live like the miracle already arrived. Because, Leo, it just did.